Now, Clerk to the National Assembly, Barrister Kamaruddin Ogunlana, has backed the bill to establish the National Assembly Infrastructure and Property Development Agency, but called for key amendments to avoid role duplication. Speaking at a House committee hearing, the barrister criticized the current role and control of the National Assembly complex by the FCDA, calling it a violation of the separation of powers. He cautioned against creating a new Director General for the proposed agency, warning it could conflict with the existing Directorate of Estate and Works and increase governance costs.
How can we have a parliament that don't have control over its facilities? It's not done. I don't know of any. That is what informed us saying we need to. Now, these two functionaries that I mentioned, the FCDA is not just in control administratively. The FCDA is empowered by the FCDA Act of 1976. Or they are responsible for the building of public buildings. And once they build, they manage. That had been the situation since 1979. National Assembly is not the only agency in that position. Even the Supreme Court complex is under FCDA. But it's not good for Parliament. It's not good for Parliament. That's why we are saying we need to rejig the law. And that is what informed the idea of this bill. But looking at this bill, our original concept is to strip these agencies and vest the authority, the ownership, control, management, to use your language, maintenance of this complex on the National Assembly management. That is the original concept. And why do we have to take that position? You all know that the office of the Clerk to the National Assembly is a creation of the Constitution. And the Clerk doubles as the Chief Executive and Accounting Officer of the National Assembly. By virtue of that, all the assets and liabilities of the National Assembly is in the custody of the Clerk.
Also speaking, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, represented by Minority Whip Honorable Ali Issa, described the bill as timely, stressing the need for the National Assembly to take full control of its facilities to strengthen legislative independence. The bill's sponsor, Committee Chairman Honorable Amos Daniel and Honorable Daniel Asama, said the legislation will correct an existing anomaly and enhance the legislature's operational autonomy and efficiency.
This bill does not seek to replace the existing Directorate of Estate and Works. Rather, it rightly transfers the responsibility currently performed by the Federal Capital Development Authority to the National Assembly itself. This means we are placing control over our premises where it belongs, within the institution that uses and maintains them. The aim is to ensure that maintenance, development, and preservations are handled with the priority and professionalism they deserve. Over the years, we have seen the consequences of disjointed management, including delayed repairs, safety concern, and operational inefficiency. With a dedicated agency, these challenges will be addressed through a long-term planning. Preventive maintenance schedules and transparent procurement, the result will be cost-saving, better.
The proposed bill seeks to address a critical anomaly in our democratic setup, where the Federal Capital Development Authority, popularly known as FCDA, is responsible for the construction, development, and maintenance of the National Assembly infrastructure, which contradicts the doctrine of separation of powers. Before proceeding further, let me begin by expressing our sincere appreciation to the Federal Capital Development Authority. Over the years, the FCDA has played a vital role in the infrastructure development of the National Assembly complex. From the early days of Nigeria's return to democracy, the FCDA has provided the institutional and technical support that has helped shape the physical space within which the legislature has operated. For this, we are grateful. However, there must come a time in the evolution of every democratic institution when certain arrangements are reviewed in order to better reflect the principle of institutional independence and efficient governance. That time for our legislature is now.
The bill seeks to establish the National Assembly Infrastructure and Property Agency, charged with the operation, management, development, maintenance, and preservation of the National Assembly complex and all properties of the National Assembly and all agencies of the National Assembly across Nigeria. This agency will play a crucial role in ensuring effective management and upkeep of the National Assembly properties, thereby enhancing the legislative body overall efficiency and productivity. The rationale, Mr. Chairman, my respected colleagues, is that the present practice, where the properties of the National Assembly and agencies are being constructed and maintained by the Federal Capital Authority, is a clear contravention of the doctrine of the separation of power. This arrangement undermines the independence of autonomy of the legislative arms of government. Passage of this bill becomes pertinent as it will ensure this arrangement